Hello my friends, welcome back to the bench, and today a little different, a little the same. We're going to be doing a chrome, but not from the traditional means of a bottle of chrome, from say All Clad or my Gaia or the Green Stuff World or this Zerk, which I haven't even tried yet. No, we're going to be taking a bottle of Mr. Hobby or Mr. Color Super Metallic 2 Super Chrome Silver 2. This is the one you want. SM Super Metallic SM 206. All right, and it's the 2. And you know, it doesn't quite have that shine. It looks like, you know, personally to me, polished steel or a polished aluminum or what, you know, something like that. Let's get this way. But I have a trick I discovered on Reddit. I'm going to give credit to John Pliskin. Great name. Did he escape from New York? Oh, that was Snake. Yeah, I was on Reddit. He put up the tip, and because it's a tip I thought was great and I've never seen before, I told him I would like to do a video shoot on it, and I'm going to educate you guys on this method of getting chrome out of this cheap jar. I don't even know if these are $4. They're pretty cheap, but much less than all the other chromes. So, and it's a lacquer, which means it's going to be durable. And I'm going to show you the process. It's a simple trick, but a trick nonetheless. And here's what we're going to do. Thanks again to John Pliskin for this. So I'm going to paint this out of the jar and show you what it looks like. All right. First of all, here is the jar. Can you see it? It's thin paint, not quite on that super thin, say All Clads or the other chromes come out, right? But it's thin, and we're going to paint this straight out of the jar, right? So we're going to put it straight into the airbrush. For this, we're going to use the Pro Convoy. As you can see, we got a new one here. I took advantage of that sale, and I might put this in a giveaway. I haven't decided yet. But this is the airbrush that's 80. I think it's currently $87 now. It went up a few bucks. It was $80 when I put up that link a few days ago. You guys should grab this quick. This is an unbelievably phenomenal airbrush. It's usually about $1.20. That's before shipping. You figure 80 change on Amazon. With if you have Prime, it's free shipping. Get this airbrush. One of the best of all time. So we will use that. We'll go all Mr. Hobby, I guess. So Mr. Hobby. The Pro Convoy airbrush, we're going to use that, and we're going to go with 20 psi on the compressor. I'm just going to pour this straight into the cup, and let's do that now. Just to show you, we're going to go straight out of the jar into the cup. That's all we need, just a little bit. I'm going to save the rest. All right. Okay. There it is. It's already loaded up. We're going to hook this up to the air compressor. We're going to leave this here. Now, this isn't the trick. We're just going to show you what this looks like out of the jar as it's meant to be from the factory. All right? Let's head over to the booth. I'll grab this airbrush. Take that with me. Don't spill anything. You can see it's in there. There it is. All right? All right, guys. I'll see you at the booth, and we'll start this experiment. All right, guys. Here we are at the booth. We are loaded up. We are attached. There it is. All right, we're going to go with shiny black spoon. You want a shiny black base, just like most chromes. Get some dust off it, and here we go. Nice so far, getting that shine. I'm trying it off here. There's no paint coming out right now. That's why I show you on my arm. Now, this is just regular paint. This isn't anything that's special, like the All Clads have a special blend or mix, you know. This is just part of their regular paint lineup. I can see it has kind of a shine. and which is really nice and different from most silvers and chromes that are not meant to be chrome. A lot of them are called themselves chrome, but if you see the word chrome silver, you're going to get a silver effect, a shinier effect, versus a dull matte traditional silver you get from most paints. So even if I load this up, flash dry it off, this is the effect we're going to get. Almost get a reflection out of it. All right, we'll go over this at the end. I'm going to show them side by side. Let me put this down, clear out the brush, meet you back at the bench. I'm going to show you what we're going to do to achieve a chrome effect. All right, back at the bench, and here is the trick. Not the greatest sleight of hand here, but quite basic. What we're going to do is, same thing, we're going to put some in a cup here out of the jar, whereas the other one we went from the jar right into the airbrush as it's meant to be sprayed. It's pre-thinned. However, I'll pour a bunch in here. Don't need too much, and you'll see why we don't need too much in a minute. There we go. All right, let me wipe this up. Always wipe the threads on your jars. Always. All right, so there we go. We are in. There it is out of the jar. You can see it. It's very thin. It's thin, pretty much for Mr. Color, because their paints are thick. And you can use any thinner you want. I have Mr. Color thinner and Mr. Color leveling thinner. I have a case of this because I use it that much for everything. It's just a great thinner. All right, now, John Pliskin called for, in his test, he called for 14:1 thinner to paint. So with that, I just, I guesstimate, you know, I just put a lot. At that point, you really can't even over thin it at that point, you know. So here we go, ready? I'll even load it up with some more. Look at this. Now we're stretching the soup. This is going to go far. Now look how much is in here. We're going to stir this up. All right, I can even go thinner than that if I wanted. Look at it. Now it looks like, and John mentioned that he got the idea when he went to clean out the airbrush. And I'm just loading it up. You can load it right up with thinner. And he saw the way it shimmered in the cup of the airbrush. You know, when you're cleaning it out and you can see it and it had that shimmer. And he mentioned that, hey, that looks just like the Old-Clad or, you know, or the other chrome paints. And that's where we got the idea to just thin it right out. And look how much I got now. How much did we put in here? Just a couple of drops. But look how much I stretched it. Now we thinned it out tremendously. Now it's, I mean, it's almost, can you have thinner than water? Is that such a thing? Anyway, now we're going to airbrush this and watch the difference. We'll see you back at the booth. Wait till you see this. All right, guys, at the booth, we cleaned out the brush. Here is the paint. Give it the old swirl. All right, let's just pour some in. All right, same black spoon. I'm gonna plate it on. Here we go, nice and slow. All right, we're coming in there. Nice and gentle. I am at, looks like 18 psi or to 20 is fine. You can also adjust with the Mac valve on this airbrush. You can lower it down if you want. You don't really have to baby this stuff. It's a little different than the All-Clads where you're going to go on ultra light. But we still are going to use that technique here. Just so you want to know, that's the black. And that's where we are now. You can flash it off. This is just air. Whoa, look Look at that, guys. We got it. We have chrome. We're going to have a side-by-side here, and I painted a few of these off camera so I can have some ready for durability. We want to check once it's fully cured. It actually dries quite fast. It's almost dry to the touch now, actually. So that's probably good enough. Look at that. We'll show you at the bench what we're talking about here. Isn't this awesome? All right. We love chrome. The more chrome, the better. All right. There we go. All right. Now, I'll gather up the one we did out of the jar. We'll show you side by side. And for a comparison, I did have this little half of a bomb here from an airplane kit. So let's go ahead and dial this one up. I had nothing to hold it, so I stuck it on this piece of plastic and put a little duct tape there and getting the job done. That looks good. All right, guys. Meet you back at the bench. All right, guys, here we are back at the bench with the results. Okay, now here is SM206 Super Metallic 2, Super Chrome Silver 2, sprayed out of the jar as it is meant to be. It's pre-thin. You just put it in your airbrush and you spray it. This is what you get. Now what we did was we took it and we thinned it. We thinned the hell out of it, I'll call it. 1 part paint to 15, I'll say to 20 parts thinner, because I loaded it right up. I personally, at this point, you don't think you can really over thin it, you know. But you really are going to get much more of this jar once you get the process done. But anyway, here it is out of the jar. And there it is, super thinned out. Here's a couple I painted off camera, getting ready for the test. Here's the one I did on camera. Look at that. Ready? All right. Out of the jar. Super thinned. Look at that. If you want to see it against black, that's how we started. And there it is now. Not the highest chrome, but it's there. If this was on a car kit, like a bumper or something, it would look realistic because it's to scale. It's not a fake, shiny, plasticky looking chrome. It's authentic. So there you go. And because it's a lacquer, oh geez, I'm gonna knock out the whole bench, guys. Because it's a lacquer, you can really beat the hell out of it. And the Mr. Color paints are durable anyway. They're a lacquer. You know, lacquers and enamels are they're durable. And you know, I've been beating these things, you know, around and nothing. Look. So if you guys are looking for durability, this is the solution. All right. Thank you, John Pliskin, for the tip. SM206 Super Chrome Silver 2. And underwhelming out of the jar. Super great once thinned, as I showed you. At least 15 to 1 thinner to paint. And there you go. There is my Super Chrome tip, courtesy of John Pliskin. Thanks again, John. Oh, I did the bomb here. Check this out. Now, this came out a little duller, but I don't think I had the same paint. I think this was a semi-gloss or a flat black or something. Still nice, though. Look how nice and even that is. It's way better than out of the jar. See that? Look at that. So we were close to this, but I think it was the base paint that I had on it. That's all. You know, your results will vary, but this is a beautiful polished metal look. Look at that. Anyway, there you go, guys. Quick video, as far as I go, a quick video on a little tip there to save money on chrome. You get this jar. I don't even think it's going to cost you $4. And boy, you are going to quadruple easily the paint you're going to get out of this. You put those few drops in, you can probably practically fill up this cup, paint an entire Mandalorian helmet or armor or whatever you want to do. This will go a long way, and I think the bonus is its durability because of what the paint is. Anyway, guys, there you go. That's the test. Please like the video. It helps a lot with the channel. Subscribe if you haven't already. Many more tests to come. I got more coming up this week. And please consider joining my Patreon. I'll put a link below where I answer your questions directly, one-on-one. If it requires a video, I will video test your question just for you and post it on my Patreon channel. It's only $4. It helps the channel out. And I do like interacting with you guys directly and on a one-on-one basis. If you haven't already, go back to my community section, hit the link, and grab one of these fantastic airbrushes which we used for the test. One of my favorites. When I got back into the hobby a few years back, just before I started the channel, this was the airbrush that got me back and into it. I started with a Iwata Neo. Yeah, that's what I had, and I hated it. I hated it. It was I didn't like it. And then talking back and forth with a few hobbyists, this was the way to try. And this was my first one coming back from the hobby from years ago. And this exact brush changed everything for me. And hence the channel was even born out of getting back into the hobby because of that airbrush. And that's the little story on that airbrush. There's a little backstory there, guys. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. As I said, like the video, subscribe. We will see you in the next video. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week. Have a great day.